Hey friend, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here listening to another episode of the Pattern Design Circle podcast. Here we talk all about the ins and outs of designing knit and crochet patterns and running a business that makes it all possible. I'm Jessica, your host, knitting pattern designer, design mentor, and the friend in your ear. Can't wait to dive right in. The Pattern Design Circle podcast is sponsored by the Pattern Design Circle, a membership community for knit and crochet pattern designers that are feeling lost, lonely, or frustrated in their business. It connects you with a supportive community that's always eager to answer your questions and help you through the hard times. And there's loads of resources and activities specifically catered to business and designing. Sound like your jam? Check it out at snickerdoodleknits.com/design-circle. That's snickerdoodle, like the cookie, knits, knits.com/design-circle. All right, let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Pattern Design Circle podcast. As always, I'm so excited to be here, hanging out with you, chatting, marketing, business, design, all of the things. And as I mentioned in the last several episodes, since I'm recording all the episodes at the same time, I tend to record several episodes all on the same day, called batch creation. I have been sick. I'm congested. I apologize for my voice. It does seem like it's getting a little bit better as I get farther along. But yeah, a little bit groggy. So anyway, today I want to approach this conversation about asking for help and receiving advice from other folks. And I was really kind of just thinking about this in terms of a lot of us as business owners tend to always feel like the answers are out of our reach, or like we don't have all the answers that we need. And so we see with a lot of business owners, not specific to our industry at all, that folks tend to buy lots and lots of courses, workshops, 10 webinars, join memberships, all this kind of stuff to get the answers that they need. They feel like the next thing they buy is going to be the perfect solution that fixes everything in their life, and now it's going to be beautiful, wonderful, perfect. Everything's going to fall in place finally. And well, I don't really consider myself a course junkie. No shade at all to the folks who do. I do feel like I have sort of fallen into this mindset trap before, where it's like, if I just had this thing, if I just joined this group, I would finally have confidence, the solutions, the answers, the strategies, all of this kind of thing that I need to finally be successful. And what I've realized is, sure, yes, absolutely. At the beginning, especially, we need a lot of those answers. We don't know, those of us who don't have any experience in running a business, in marketing, in sales, in branding, in all of these things. Yeah, we do need guidance. We do need help. We do need support. We do need to learn these things. But there seems to be this point that we hit where it's like, all right, we have the answers that we need. We have the lessons that we need. We have the solutions that we need. We have the strategies that we need. We just need to implement it. And so there's a point, I think, where we really have to become aware of the fact that we have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of answers that we just haven't implemented yet. And sometimes that's the hardest part. It can be easier to consume the content and all of that. That's not to say that you won't need support. There is absolutely a place for groups that have accountability, additional coaching. And yes, as we implement certain strategies and things like that, then we get to a point where now we're ready to level up. We've implemented the strategies that we knew and that helped us. And now we need more support. We absolutely do need a mentor, a coach, a new course, a new membership, all of that kinds of thing. And whether that's for the support aspect with accountability, things like that, whether that's for the coaching aspect, just really getting an outside perspective on your business, or whether that is really more like courses and things to actually learn new strategies. And I do want to be clear that business owners of every level have mentors, they have support systems. We're never going to outgrow that. And we're always going to have somewhere else that we can grow to. And that's, if you're somebody who likes to accomplish things and have them done and over with, like I can be sometimes, that can be frustrating, but it's also very good news because it means that we won't ever get to a place where we've just accomplished it all and there's nothing else to do. So at what point, how do we discern whether we need help or whether we have the answers within us? And I think that really comes down to just asking ourselves some hard questions that we have to be honest and truthful about answering. And those questions are things like, am I looking for an excuse? Am I scared, too fearful about implementing what I know? Do I already have information that I can be implementing? Is there actually something else that I need? What specifically do I need? A lot of times we see other business owners talking about their programs, talking about their success, and we're like, oh, there's something that they know that I don't know, that I need. I don't have it, I need it. And that can be really deceiving and inaccurate. What I've learned is that actually, there kind of seems to be a point where you get the majority of the marketing, branding, messaging, business strategies. And new programs aren't going to teach you a whole lot new. You might have little tips and things that, yes, absolutely, you can implement those and those are great. But I find for myself personally, I've become very disappointed when I'm like, I need the next thing. I need to learn the new thing. This membership is the best thing on the market, and therefore it's going to have all of the deepest, darkest secrets that will help me be successful. And then I'm really disappointed because it's like, no, this is exactly what I already knew. And so then my question to myself has to be, so why haven't I done it already? And that's where it can feel really, really frustrating. You can be really discouraged and even upset with the creators of those programs because you feel like you got ripped off. You thought that it was going to solve all your problems and it didn't. And that ends up being an issue for ourselves personally, where we didn't take the time to honestly reflect and look inward and ask, is this actually what I need right now? And so I think that's really important before buying the next thing. Asking maybe even for advice is to say, do I already know the answer? And so then I also want to talk about, okay, just in general, receiving advice from support systems. Something that I've discovered, especially over the last year, is that there are a lot of people in my support system that have really good quality advice, and they're well-meaning, but it doesn't apply to me right now. And a lot of that often is in terms of, oh, just give yourself grace, just take care of yourself. Oh yeah, you just take a break, all of those kinds of things. And yes, there absolutely are seasons where that is important. That is super valuable. There's a reason that is a big topic in the business world, is because we were so far on this hustle culture end of the spectrum, that we needed more balance, we needed more rest, we needed more self-care. But I know for myself, last year I got so far on the other end of the spectrum that it was like it wasn't serving me any longer. And that advice actually is not advice that is what I need. And so whether I'm asking for that advice or whether somebody's volunteering that advice, I've learned that it's always important, no matter what the advice is, to filter it. Is this actually what I need? Listen to yourself. I think our gut, our intuition, whatever you want to call it, doesn't receive enough recognition or credit. We're so used to looking to people outside of us for answers that we don't listen to ourselves. And so when you receive advice, even if it's from me, I mean, absolutely, including myself, whether it's here on the podcast, whether it's content I share on the email list or in Instagram, or you're a member of the Pattern Design Circle, I'm sharing from my perspective. I don't know absolutely everything in your life. And even if I did, I don't know your intuition. I don't know your gut. I don't know what 100% fits you. And so advice from other people can only go so far. Understanding the strategies from other people can only go so far. We have to bring things through a personal filter. We have to ask ourselves, is this actually applicable to where I am? Does this actually solve what I need it to solve? Does this actually align with my goals, my purpose, my mission? Absolutely give it thought and consideration. Don't disregard what people are saying. Majority of the time, there is truth to it. It's not that it's bad advice, it just might not be for you right now. And a lot of that comes from us seeking help and advice when we're just not willing to listen to the advice of our intuition and our gut. We're trying to avoid what we already know to be true. And therefore, other advice that we get that recommends something different is not going to actually feel in alignment, because we already know what we need to be doing. We already know what feels right, and we're just avoiding it. And this just happened, last week in a support group where, all right, I've been sick, but I was feeling very frustrated because it was like, all right, I was out of town for 3 weeks now. I've been sick for over a week, and I just want to work on my business. But I'm like, I'm tired, I have brain fog. So I was like, I'm not sure exactly what I want to set for goals this week. And all the responses were, oh, just take it off, give yourself a break, you deserve it, have self-care, rest. And I knew they're all well-meaning. They, I had done that for the week previously. I was very sick. I was in bed. I wasn't hardly doing anything. I wasn't thinking about business then, but I knew I was to the point where the best thing for me, especially my mental health, was to get back into my business. And I didn't end up setting any goals for myself. I wasn't working normally. I wasn't working my normal hours. I wasn't sticking to a specific schedule. I wasn't forcing myself to keep working when I was like, all right, I'm really tired. I can't concentrate. I was taking naps, all that kind of thing. But I knew that now it was not the time for me to just not do anything, because that would be when I'd get down into a more depressive state and I'd just feel unproductive. Like I was to the point where I felt good enough to be doing stuff and I really wanted to be doing stuff. So it didn't make sense for me to not do stuff. So I hope that makes sense. Just an example of advice that isn't wrong. It's well-meaning, but it just doesn't fit in that circumstance, in that situation. I knew, listening to myself and knowing my past experience, that it was in my best interest to not 100% take that to heart. And so always consider that. I know also sometimes it can feel easier to ask somebody else for their advice than to reflect inwardly. Like somehow it feels like it takes more time to just sit, and whether that's journaling, whether that's meditating, whether that's just thinking through things, taking a walk, whatever it is, it can feel so time consuming to really get in touch with ourselves and our intuition and what we know to be true. It can feel so time consuming to really dig to the real deep, honest answers, truthful answers. And so then it can be easier to seek external solutions, validation, what it is, ever it is that we're looking for. So I guess here in this conversation of when do we ask for help and when do we not? I think the main time that it's super extremely important and helpful and valuable to seek help, to seek answers, advice, recommendations, coaching, classes, all of that, is when we know we don't have the answer in us. We know there is something I am absolutely missing. Another reason is when we have already taken the time to do that inward reflecting. You're like, I'm just not getting to the solution here. I'm not finding the answer. I need somebody who has an outside perspective. And that's absolutely a great time to ask for support, advice, guidance, look for a strategy, all of that kind of thing. Look for coaching. And then, just really honestly reflecting and to say, what do I know to be true about what I need? What do I know to be true about what I know? And can what I know actually solve what I need? And what is the reason I'm actually asking for help and for guidance? And so, yes, there absolutely is a place for courses, for memberships, for coaching, all of those things, but don't try to let those be the substitute to listening to yourself or doing the work, because we have to do the work regardless. And so just take time to tune into yourself, to listen, and to be like, what is the real answer here? what is the actual aligned solution here? What is the purpose? And I think that will really help you to not only know when to ask for help and seek help, but also to not be disappointed when you ask for help and it's not the right kind of advice, or it's like, I already knew that. Why are you telling me that? Like, actually, that's my fault because I didn't check in with myself first. So, and I guess one more thing that I wanted to mention, just on the outside perspective, that is absolutely so valuable as well. Sometimes we get so deep and maybe stuck in our business that we struggle to step back, see the full picture, see things from another perspective. We can feel like this is the way things have to be. We can feel like this is the only solution and be stuck in a whole system of our thoughts and beliefs and perspective, and just having somebody else who looks in and is like, actually, have you considered this? Or what if this were true instead? Or, things like that. And that's extremely valuable. So this is, I guess, an encouragement that if you know that you don't have the answer with you already, absolutely seek that solution, seek that advice, seek that support, seek that accountability, whatever it is that you need. But if you know that you already have the answer in you, and you're just looking for something better or perfect or something like that, stop looking and do the work. I say that with love, because this is also me preaching to myself. There are a lot of things that I'm like, I know I shouldn't need to be doing these things. I know that that will actually help me get to my goals. I actually want to do them. It's just a matter of like prioritizing it and getting it done. And so as long as I'm seeking for advice or recommendations or courses or solutions or anything like that to this problem, that's not going to help until I implement what I already know. So remember that you have so much already within you, and seek that outside advice, help. I offer one-on-one coaching if you want that sort of outside perspective, somebody who's a mentor who understands where you're at and really wants to help give you guidance. I also have Pattern Design Circle, which is a community membership. Doors are not currently open at the time of this recording, but you can join the waitlist. The link is in the description, and look to your support network, all that kind of thing. So I hope this is helpful. I hope the next time that you feel tempted to seek external solutions, that you can just use this process of understanding, is this what I actually need? Or is this kind of masking the issue? Looking for a solution when I'm not willing to actually do what I need to do. So sending all the love and hoping this is super powerful and valuable to you. And I look forward to chatting with you on the next one. Wow. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you found it valuable, please share the podcast with a designer friend. And if you have a minute, leave a review. It's so helpful for me and means the world to me. Chat soon.